Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make or how to perform the CRUD operation in Spring Boot. So first, I'm going to show you what exactly we are going to develop, what are the following APIs which we are going to develop. On the screen, you can see we have four APIs for now. That is add new product, get all product, update product, and delete product. So we are going to perform all of these operations and we are going to start it from the scratch. So first, let me start this and let me show you how this one works and how we are going to design this. So now here you can see this Tomcat started on port 8080. Okay, so now our Tomcat, our project has been started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Postman and here you can see this. First, I'm going to hit the API that is get all product. So here we have written this localhost 8080/product. This is the product where annotation at the class level, that is request mapping from the class. We are going to move over here, that is get all product. So just go over here, just click on this and this will fetch all the data which is available in our database and it will show over here. If I move back to the database, here you can see this, my database name is video test db and I have used it, and after that I have shown the tables and we have only one table, that is product, and inside this one I have performed the operation, that is select start product, start from product, and here you can see this we have only one record for now. If I execute it again, we still have only one record. Okay, so now I'm going to add new record. So move back over here and here you can see this add new product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name for this one, that is from mobile to I'm going to add one laptop. Okay, so the price will be something 30,000 and 0.5 for now. This is an electronic item, needs to take in care properly. Okay, so I'm going to send it and here you can see this product added successfully. If I move back over here, you can see this the query is printed, that is insert into the product, and we have also added selected this one from product. This is the previous query get all product. When we have wired that, this query is executed. Now this query has been executed. If I move back over here and click on this one, now we will have the two record. Okay, so here we have this one. Now the successful product has been added. If I change the name over here and try to add it, invalid data, because we are validating these keys also. So I'm going to show you all of these stuff, don't worry. So if I delete this and if I try it again, it will work properly fine. So if I move back over here and here we have to update the record. So if I move back over here, we will see the ID is 6, but I'm going to update the price. I want to update the price. This is not the 30,000, it's 31,000. So what we have to do is I'm just going to copy this and move back over here. I'm going to paste it over here. Okay. And we have to actually pass this ID in order to update it. If I don't pass this ID, this will throw an exception. Let me just change the ID from 4 to 6. So I'm going to change this one to 6 and send it. And here you can see this product updated successfully, but we haven't changed the price. So if I move back over here and here you can see this no update query is fired. Why this has the update query is not fired, I will also let you know. Let me just make a small change over here. So I'm going to change this one 31,000 and send it. Product updated successfully. If I move back over here and here you can see this update product set price where product ID is this. So here you can see this. Now the product ID, the query generated is very small. We have passed all the data, but query is updating only one stuff which we have actually changed. So why this is happening, I'm going to explain these small stuff. Don't worry about that. Okay, here we have one small issue. If I am going to pass the -6, none of the ID is in the minus. So if I try to update it, it's invalid data. If I'm trying to update any data which doesn't exist, like with the help of an ID 9, here you can see this we have only two ID, that is 4 and 6, but we are going to update for the ID 9. If I click on this, it shows invalid data. If I move back over here, you can see this, we don't have anything over here. Okay, so this is how this works. for productivity successfully. Okay, so if I move backward, for now I have updated the 4. So now this is also laptop, not mobile. If I change this one here, you can see this one is also laptop. Okay, so I'm going to delete this ID for that is 6, or you can see this the 4, and I'm going to delete this ID 6 which we already have over here. This is 6 one is laptop, so I'm going to delete this. So you can see this product deleted successfully. If I fetch all data, now we have only one record. If I move back over here and I'm going to try to delete the value which doesn't exist, that is 8. If I click on this, no data exists with ID 8. Okay, here you can see this. We have only 4. So we cannot delete this 8 because we doesn't have this in the database. Okay, so now let's start with the developing of this complete stuff, that is the CRUD operation and all the validation over here. So let's start with it. So first what you have to do is you have to simply open up your browser and you have to search for Spring Initializer. Select the first one, click on this, and this will open a pop-up like this. First, what we have to do is we have to add few dependency into this one. That is, here you can see this. This is for add dependency. Just click on this. You have to search for web. First, select this one. After this, click on this and select another, that is JDBC API, this one. Again, select another, that is the JPA, because we are going to use this JPA. Select one more and use this MySQL driver. Now we need all these dependency. With the help of dependency, the Spring automatically understand this, that this is a web application. But when we add this to Spring Web, by default, with the help of dependency, it understands this is a Spring application. Okay, so we have selected this. By default, this Maven project is selected. If not, then please select this and select Java, and the version is this one. And here we have the group ID. So whatever group ID you want to give, you can give it. What happened is, by default, we have a .m2 repository, that's the local repository for the Maven, and whatever the group ID will pass it over here on the same. With the help of, if I pass com.example, then whenever you make jar of your project, it will store your jar in, it will create a folder with the name com, and inside that com it will again create a folder with the name example, and inside that it will store the jar whatever you create with the command mvn clean install -d skip test. Okay, so this is what the group ID is. Now you want to know what is this artifact ID. So this is the name. With the help of this name, it will create a jar file. Suppose if you're going to write something like this, product dot management dot system, then it's going to create a jar with the product dot management dot system dot 0.0.1 dot snapshot dot jar, something like that. You can change it as per your choice. This is the jar name actually, and this is a project name, so you can name anything. So I'm going to name this product video, product video for CRUD operation, like this. And I'm going to name this one com dot in dot product, like this. And I'm going to just replace this package name from here, product.management.system. Okay, sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just paste it over here. That is common product. My package name will be the same, this one. Okay, so next thing we have to select this packaging, that is Java, and this 11. When you click on this generate, it will let us download one zip folder. Okay, so before we download something, that is zip folder, and we start working on this, a small stuff you also need to know, that is what is Maven project. So what happened is, whenever in the past time we actually use the JSP. So what happens when we use JSP? There is most of the configuration we have to do manually, like the proper project is sort of the folded structure, and we have to put the tomcat and something like this. So many configuration we need to do. So what Maven does is Maven automatically creates such folder structure in a proper manner so that you doesn't get any exception over there. Okay. Next thing, what happen is whenever you start with it, it actually take care of all your dependencies. Suppose I have added these dependencies, and when we open the project, it will see in our pom.xml file that we have all these dependencies we require. So it started downloading from its central repository server, and it's stored in our local system. Okay, after that, now we don't need to worry about these dependencies. Okay, so this is how Maven work. If you want to read more, you can just Google it, or you can just comment in the comment section. I'm going to make separate videos for this understanding purpose of the Maven. Okay, so let's download this and start working. So here you can see this. Now product.management.system.zip is going to download. Just save it and click on OK. And here download is done. If I move back over here to my download folder, here you can see this product.management.system is downloaded. Just click on this and extract over here. And here you can see this. Now our project is extracted, and here we have the proper structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back over here. I'm going to stop it. And first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the database. So drop database, that is the video test DB, so that I can show you everything. Okay, so now I've dropped the database. Okay, now move back to our project over here and minimize it, and just I'm going to open a new project. So just open it, and we have to move to the downloads folder. Just minimize it, and here you can see this. We are already in the downloads. You can explore where you have downloaded the project. Just click on this, extract this, and select the inner folder, and just click on OK, trust project, and open a new window. For me, I'm opening it in new window. So here you can see this. Make sure the system is connected with the internet, because it's going to download all the dependency which you have added while you are downloading the zip. Okay, so now my dependency is downloaded. If I move back to the pom.xml, and here you can see this, the group ID is this, my artifact ID is this. This will actually create a jar file with the name this one and the version this one. If you want to download, or if you want to create the jar file with the name product.management.system and 1.0.0, then you have to just remove this and you have to type 1.0.0 like this. Just save it. Okay, next thing, we have to actually make few changes in the resources, and here we have the application or properties, and we have to add few properties over here. So I've already kept some properties into this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy it and I'm going to paste it over here so that we can save a lot of time. Okay, so what we have did in these properties, you can also Google it, and or I'm going to explain it a little bit. Okay, so before I explain, here we have this load Maven changes. So just click on this and it will load all the changes whatever you make. Just click on this one. Okay, so here we have these dependencies. It actually specifies which type of MySQL driver you want. After that, we have the database driver, that is the URL, that is JDBC MySQL, and it start on the local host. This is a port number. This is a database name, that is video test DB. For now, I have dropped the test DB, so it will throw an exception. It may not start because it can't able to find this test DB. Okay. Next thing, to connect with my database, my username is root and my password is 123456. This is the property which actually perform the operation, like whenever our JPA generate any query, it will print in the console that I have shown you earlier. So that's why we have added this is spring.jpa.show SQL is equal to true. This is auto update. I have used this because we are using the JPA and we don't want to manually create the table. So if you add this property, it will automatically create table according to your POJO. And if you make any changes in that, it will update the table accordingly. Okay. So here, this is the last one. It's also required to perform the operations. Okay. So next thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up with the adding few stuff. That first we are going to create the proper packaging structure over here, and after that we are going to add few classes and interfaces inside this one. So before we do, let me just check one small stuff that here we have added this MySQL connector in the Java. If you don't add it, it will throw exceptions. Make sure you have added all the dependency while downloading this zip. Okay. So now next thing what we have to do is we have to actually create this database over here. So for that you have to just open up your MySQL. Let me just close it and let me just open it. Okay. Okay. So we have to search for the MySQL. You can also go with the GUI, but I prefer the command line. So my password is this, and here we go. Let me just zoom in, and I'm going to create a database. That is create database, and my database is, just copy the database name from here, just paste it and hit enter. Here now we have created the database. So you have to simply type this. And now we are using this particular database. So I want to show the tables, all the tables. Here you can see this, we don't have any tables for now. So now we move back to the project, and now we are going to actually add few of the stuff. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create few folders inside this one. So for that, right click on this, new, and I'm going to create one package, and I'm going to create one package that is DAO for the database operations. Next thing, I'm going to add one new package, select this, and I'm going to add one POJO. You can also name it model or something else. This is all per your choice. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to create one REST package, and another I'm going to create REST temple. Another is service. You must be worried that why I'm creating so much of packages, because in one project you can have multiple POJOs, multiple DAO classes, multiple REST interface, multiple REST impl classes. So we need to store it in proper order so we can easily identify which interface or which class is where. Okay, so this is the proper way of coding. Okay, so I'm going to create one service, and another is service impl, like this. Now we are done with the creating the packages, because we are not going to need more than these packages for now. Okay, so first I'm going to create one model class. So I'm going to create one model class with the name product, and this is a class, so make sure this class is selected and hit enter, and here we go. Okay, so if you want to start the project, just move back over here and just click on this. This is building our project, and you can, after that, you can actually start the project. Okay, so move back over here to the model. In the model, we have to actually add few annotations. I will explain you what are these annotations. So first we are going to add the entity. This actually tell the Spring that this is our entity class. Okay, after that I'm going to add few more, that is dynamic insert and dynamic update, and I'm going to add one table, and I'm going to mention the name of the table which we want to create. So I'm going to just create the product. After that we have to add XML root element over here, and inside this one we again need to pass this name. So name is equal to product. After that we have to add one more dependency, that is JSON ignore property, and the value for this one will be hibernate lazy initializer. you need to study a bit about what is lazy initializer and what is eager initializer. Eager, like this one. Okay, so now the task over here is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to actually implement serialization. Why that? Serializable, and here we have to actually provide one ID, private static final and long, not this one, long, and we have to actually name something to this one, serial version, and I'm going to name this one UID. This will be the long. Okay, so like this one. Why we have actually implemented the serializable? Because whenever we actually execute this, it converted into a serialization, that is converted into the objects are converted into streams which is being serialized over the network. So while we are deserializing, we need some ID, some value. So while serializing, it will use this value to serialize, and while deserializing, this will again use this same value to deserialize. In the model, we have multiple values. If we don't implement serializable, it can serialize by using any value, and at the receiver end, it start deserializing by using any other value. This may cause issue. That's why we implement serializable on our own. Okay. After this, what we have to do is we have to actually provide how many classes and how many how many columns we need in our database. So I'm going to need one ID, so private, and it's of type integer, and I need ID. So we have to annotate it with some annotation to that this is the ID, so that annotation is automatically at the rate ID. After this, what I want is this ID needs to be auto generated whenever I add a new value. So for that, I'm going to use this generated value, and inside this one I'm going to pass in a strategy, and this strategy will be generated type, and I'm going to use this identity. Okay, and I'm going to name this column something we need to name in the database table. So name will be, I'm going to name this one product underscore ID. So this is the first thing, that is the first column. So whenever we are going to access it throughout this project, we are going to use this ID, but in the database, the name will be, the column name will be the product underscore ID. Next thing, I'm going to create one more column that is for name. So that is string name, and this will be, the column will be name is equal to name. In the same way, I'm going to need one more column that is for price. So name will be price, and private, you can keep it float or long as per your choice, but I need only till one decimal value, so I'm going to keep it float price. Next thing, I need description of the product. So product private string description, and at the rate column, and we need name is equal to description. I'm to just copy this and paste it over here. Okay, so now we are done with these columns we need. If you need more columns, then you can do the same way, in the same way. If you need a date type column, then you can just change the data to date. It will automatically create the table in the database. Okay, so next thing what we have to do is we have to create the constructor for this one, so you can use this IDE feature. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Alt Insert, and here we have the option for getter and setter and constructor. So first I'm going to create one constructor. Okay, so we need to select all four, and we need to create like this one, and I need one empty constructor. For that, you have to write this public product like this one. Now the empty constructor is also ready. Next thing what we have to do is we need getter and setter in order to set the values and get the values from this model. For that, just alt insert, select this getter and setters and select all. We don't need to select this serial version UID. Just click on OK, and here you can see this. Now the getter and setters for description. This is a getter, get description, this will return the description, set description, this will return the description, set price, this will set the price value, get price, get name. If you can't able to find this, how to generate it through the ID, you can manually type it. This is not an issue. Okay, so I hope you have paused the video and you have written all of these code over here. This is the N, set description. Okay, so next thing what we have to do is we have to create few more interfaces and REST classes in order to start coding. Okay, if you want to run this project at this moment and you can't able to find this start menu, then what you have to do is just move back to this one, that is the main class of your project, where this Spring Boot application annotation is there. Right click on this and you will find this option that is run this main. If you click on this, this will fire up your application, and here you can see this Tomcat started at port 8080. You can also change this port if you want. With some of the application properties, you need to add few properties to change the port. You can Google it. It's a very small single line of code. Okay, so now I'm going to stop this and I'm going to add few interfaces and classes so that we can continue with our work. So first I'm going to add one interface over here. So right click on this, click on Java class and select interface, and I'm going to add the product REST. So product REST and hit enter. One interface will be added. Inside this one I'm going to add one class which will implement this REST. So product REST, and this is the implementation class, so I'm going to name this one Ample. Next thing, I'm going to add one service over here. So Java class, this is the interface. So product service. Next, I'm going to add one Ample class which will implement it. So this will be product service Ample. After that, we have to implement it by for sure. So implements, and this will implement product REST, and now product service Ample will implement product service like this. Make sure you do these stuff. Next thing, I'm going to add one DAO. So right click on this Java class, this will be interface, so we need to add product DAO, and we have to make small change in this product DAO. What is that? We have to extend the JPA repository which we are going to use, and we have to pass few stuff inside this JPA repository. First what we have to pass is, first we have to pass our model. So our model is this product, this one, and second thing, we have to pass the type integer. What is this type? This is the type of the ID which we have inside the model. So if I move back into this one, here you can see this, we have this ID and the type for this one is integer. So we have to pass integer over here. Now, by extending or by auto wiring this product DAO, we can use all the methods which is provided by the JPA repository, like find by ID, like find all, get all, update, save, these stuff which we are going to use from the JPA repository. So we don't need to make any changes in this one product DAO for now. Okay, so we're going to completely depend on the JPA repository methods for now. In the later videos, if you want me to develop a project in which we are going to use a Hibernate query languages, that is the HQL, then please comment in the comment section. I will create further videos how to name the named queries and other stuff. Okay, so but for in this video we are going to stick with the JPA repositories. So now we move back to the REST, and few annotation we have to add on this one. So first thing what we have to mention over here is that is the request mapping, and this request mapping at the interface label. So here we have to pass the path. Inside this one we have to set the some path, and the path will be product. After this, I'm going to add one more, that is cross origin, and I'm going to pass origins is equal to, and we have to pass the star over here. So why we have added this cross origin and why we have added the request mapping must be a question raised in your mind. So first, I'm going to discuss about the request mapping. So whenever we have multiple paths present in our interface, so here what we are going to do is we are going to write the four APIs, right? So which contains separate path. So first we tell the API that we have to write route to this particular class, that is a product. After that, we pass the method path. Okay, that is if this post mapping, then we have some path over there. If we have the get mapping, we have some path over there. So product slash, and after that, whatever you keep the path for that particular API, we have to pass it. Okay, so now we have added annotation over here. Next thing, on the REST, we have to add one annotation, that is a REST controller. So why we are going to add this REST controller again? So REST controller is a combination of two stuff, that is the controller and the response body. If you want to see it, just press the CTRL key and click on this, and here you can see this, we have all of these two. So what happened when we put controller on any class? Whenever our Spring startup, the project is startup, it sees all the classes which have the controller annotation. It created bean for that, it registered it for the bean. Okay, next thing, what is this response body? So in the previous time, what happened is, when our API is actually developed in such a way that it can return a string, or it can return a JSON, and it can also return a complete HTML file. But nowadays, this API is completely used to return the string values and the primitive values and the list of data, something like these. So it specifies that our API is going to return the non-HTML values, Okay, so that's why we annotated with REST controller. It actually worked for the two different, is a combination of two different annotations. Okay, next thing, we have product.service. We don't need to annotate it with anything. We have to annotate over here with the @service. So it specifies that here we are going to write the actual business logic. Okay, so now move back to the REST and we start with the actual coding. We are just going to start with the writing the APIs. Now everything is done to start with the APIs. Okay, so you must be worried about that, why we have created this product rest simple, then service simple. So you must have heard about the abstraction, that hiding internal implementation and showing only the set of services which we use, okay, which we provide actually. So this is why we have used as an interface, then class, then interface, then class, to hide our internal implementation in the backend. Okay, so I hope you understand this. If you're not, then you can just Google it. What is abstraction? What is encapsulation? These type of stuff you need to read in the OOPS concept. If you can't able to find the proper content for that, you just comment in the comment section. We will make the separate videos for that. Okay, so first I'm going to actually create the API for add new product. Okay, so first we are going to add a product. So that product will be, I'm going to write it over here. So public response entity, this one, and this will return a string whenever we successfully add a product. So add new product, and here I'm going to accept one request body. So request body, and this is required is equal to true by default, but still I'm going to specify it so that I can explain it. Okay, so map of a string comma string I'm expecting, and this will be the request map. Just close it. So what is this request body? So request body is whenever your API is going to hit, or this one, our API, whenever you hit our API, it's actually expecting a JSON, that is the body which we pass. In the Postman, here you can observe that here you can see this add new product. We have selected the raw and JSON. This is the JSON which we are expecting. Okay, this is a key value pair. Okay, so this key value pair is going to store inside this one, that is a map. So because we have specified string comma string, if you try to pass string comma object, then this API will not work, and this is required true. If I specify required false, then without passing this value you can actually hit our API, but I don't want to perform that operation, because without the data, if you hit then add new product, nothing will happen. Okay, so let me just minimize this little bit and like this so that you can see everything. Okay, so now you must have understand these small stuff, and if you are using the IntelliJ, and if you want to format your all stuff, whatever you have written, you have to simply press Ctrl Alt and L, and you can see this, it's automatically formatted. And here you must be worried that it's showing one error over here, and we haven't specified the path how we can hit this API. For that, this is a post call, so post mapping, and inside this one I'm going to pass the path or set the path over here. So slash, and I'm going to pass this add new product like this. Let me just copy it and just paste it over here and save it. Now how you can hit this, localhost 8080/product/ add new product. Okay, and here we have some spelling mistake, request map like this. So it's showing an error because in the interface we have declared it, but in the REST impl, that is the class, the implementation class, we haven't implemented it. And if we move back over here, it will also show some error. So just hover over this and you can see implement methods, select this and click on OK, or you can manually type it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this return null, and I'm going to start with the exception handling first. So try catch, and I'm going to catch all type of exception, and I'm going to print the exception in the console. It will show an error because it's expecting a response entity of a string type, but we haven't returned it yet, so missing return statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return something which it's expecting. So new response entity, and this response entity is of type string which it's expecting. So inside this one I'm going to write like this, and I'm going to write something like this. And I'm going to name this one message like this one. Like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one message over here. For that, just format it a little bit, and here I'm going to add something in the double quotes. Let me just format it, and inside this one I'm going to write something went wrong like this. And why we use this response entity while we can simply pass the string, return the string. So with the help of this response entity, we can also pass what type of HTTP status you want to show. So I want to show HTTP status dot internal server error, that is 500. So that's what I want to show. Here you can see this, and just close it. Okay, if I hover over this one, it must show, what is this? Okay, if I move back over here, you can see this internal server error 500. Okay, internal server error. If you just press the Ctrl key and click on this, it will open up and it will show it. Okay, so now here the thing is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to actually write this method in the service, And in the service impl, we are going to write the actual implementation for this one. So in the service, we have to actually auto wire the service layer. For that, I'm going to auto wire the service. So product service, and I'm going to name this one product service and at the rate auto wire. So what this auto wire what this auto wire actually do is, this auto wire actually make the bean of this one. So this is an interface. You must be worried that we can't create the bean of an interface. Here you can see this. So what will happen is, you must know this, that parent can hold the object of child. So what internally happen is, product service product is equal to new product service impl. This will perform an operation something like this in the backend, and with the help of this you can actually access all the methods which is present inside this product service. So I hope this has cleared your doubt how we are going to auto wire an interface. Okay, so just delete it. And now inside this product service, I'm going to add this add new product. Okay, so move back into the product service, and here we are going to add a add new product. So public, and this will return a response entity of string type, and this is add new product, and this will accept a map of string comma string type, and this is a request map like this. Now format it. Now move back over here inside this one with this product service dot add new product, and we have to pass this request map. Okay, and press the Ctrl Alt L if you can't able to format it. Okay, so now we have called this method over here, and here we have declared this one, and in the product is showing an error because in the product service impl we haven't implemented it. So just move back over here, just click on this and implement method, and select this one and click on OK. So this will actually create a method over here. So again, I'm going to just delete it, and I'm going to move back over here, and I'm going to copy this one because I'm not going to write it again for sure. Okay, so this will return in the case of exception. So first I'm going to start with the exception handling, because I don't want to show user any type of exception. We're going to show user a specific detail which we want to show. So print star trace like this. Okay, so this is same internal server error. Next thing, now we have this request map, and this is our product service impl, and here we are going to write the actual logic whatever we want to write. Okay, so first thing what we want to do is, if we move back over here and you can see this, we have three stuff, that is name, price and description. So first we know that our API is going to hit with these specific data. So I'm going to validate these keys, that if this request map contains these values, then only I want to proceed further. So first I'm going to write one method on separate method, okay, which will return true or false, that is the boolean method. So I'm going to write private, and this will return a boolean value, that is true or false, and I'm going to name this one validate add new product, and this will accept that map of string comma string type, that is the request map, and this will return false. First thing what I'm going to do is, I'm going to check for that specific keys. So if request map dot contains keys, and what key I want to check, that first one is name, so I'm going to copy it and move back over here and paste it. Another, I'm going to check for request dot contains key, I'm going to check for price and request map dot contains key. I'm going to check for description. So if I move back over here, just copy it and move back over here, and here you can see this. Now I have checked for all of these three. So now if you checked for all of these three and it still exists, these three, then I'm going to return true. Okay, so I've just formatted it and just deleted the unnecessary spaces, and here you can see this. Now this will actually let you know that if these keys present in our request map or not. If these keys are anyone is missing or the name is changed, then we will return that this is a invalid data. So if I move back over here, if, and I'm going to use this validate add new product, and I'm going to pass this request map. If this one is valid, then we are going to move inside this one. That is, we are going to move further to save this data. In the else condition, what we want to do is we want to throw or return an error. So I'm going to just copy it and paste it over here, and this will be internal server error, or you can pass a bad request and you can just return invalid data. Now if you want to check this, if this API is working fine or not, for that if I move back over here, and here you can see this, now we have the table, because after creating the model we have actually started our project, so that's why we have table over here. So if you want to show it, so let me just drop table product and just hit enter, and here you can see in the okay, so now we don't have tables, any table inside this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this project, and let me just show you. So starting a project, and here you can see this. Now create table product. This is automatically fired query. We haven't written it anywhere. This is how the JPA works. This has automatically created our table in our database. So if you can see this, show tables, we have product. Okay, so now our table is created when we started the project. Here you can see this. Now we will test that if this validate add new product is working or not, invalid data. So now move back over here, and here you can see this add our, this is the localhost 8080. You have to write this, and this is a class label annotation, that is request mapping, that is product, and this is the API. So what I'm going to do is if I click on this, for now something went wrong. What went wrong? If I move back over here, run, and let's see what's wrong with this. If I move back to the rest, let's check it. Okay, so why this is showing an error, that is something went wrong when we hit this API, because if I move back over here and if I move back to the REST temple, and here you can see this, we have called this, which is going to return a response entity of a string type, but we haven't returned it. So it's calling it, and after that it's returning this value. So that's why we have missed the return statement over here. So that's what causing an issue. So now if I save it and if I restart the application, and again I'm going to hit the postman, the same API. So if I move back over here and click on this, something went wrong, still it's showing. Okay, move back over here, the service over here. Okay, so again it's go inside this if condition, and it's not find anything, and it go over here, and this something went wrong is returned. So what we want to return this one, that is invalid data. For that, what we have to perform is we have to actually change this ID. So I'm going to add one p over here, and if I send this, here you can see this, now we have the specific data which we want, the error which we want, that is the invalid data, because we have changed the key over here. Okay, so now this is good. Now this one is working fine. Okay, so if you want to make sure that this exception or is being returned, so invalid, something went wrong at product service impl. So let's restart it and let's check this. Okay, so I've restarted it. Let me just make this one a little bit small. So now it started at port 8080 and just move back over it. Click on this. Something went wrong at product service impulse. So this is how this one is working. Next thing, what we have to do is just stop this and move further with the coding. So now we have validated that request map contains all of the values. After that, what we have to do is we cannot simply fetch the value and store it in the database. So for that, we actually need the data in the model, this one. And we can save this by using the JPA repository. For that, what we have to do is we actually need to get the model from this request map. So I'm going to create one method that is private. Okay, first I'm going to show you in a simple way. Okay, so I'm going to create a product object over here, product, new product, like this one, and I'm going to set the values product dot set name, and from where we get the name, so request map dot get, and we have to pass the key, this name. After this, product dot set price, which is a float type, so we have to convert this string type to float type. For that, how we have to do is we have to use this float dot parse float, and inside this one we have to pass request map dot get, and we have to pass the key, that is the product price or price simply. And next thing is product dot set description, request map dot get, and we have to pass the key, that is the description. I'm going to copy this and move back over here, and we have to pass it over here. So now we have created the model over here. Next thing what we have to do is we have to auto wire, we have to create the bean for this one, that is a product DAO, so that we can use the JPA functions. So move back over here to service sample. So product DAO, and we have to auto wire it. Okay, with the help of this auto wire we can actually save it. So product DAO dot save is the default method which we can use. So product. So this is how we make the model. So this is not a proper coding practice. What we have to do is we have to actually create one separate method in order to make our code clean to look and for the code reusability. Okay, so for that what we have to do is we have to actually write one method that is private, and this method is not going to do some very spatial or some spatial logic. This is going to return simply the product object, that is the product, and the method name will be get product from map. Simple. This is map of a string comma string, which is going to accept string comma string, and this is request map, like this. Just format it a little bit, and next thing what we have to do is we have to just cut this part and move back over here and paste it. Think about code reusability. For that, for the future prospect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just accept one value over here. So what will be that? That is a boolean type. Boolean is add. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that if this one is true, that is add. If this is true, then what we want to do is we want to actually add product dot set ID, and this ID will be of integer type. So integer dot parse int, and we are going to extract it from the request map dot get, and this will be the product ID. So product underscore, sorry, the capital and ID, something like this. Why I have created the separate method for this one, so that this will be the code reusability, because we are going to use the same this one while we are updating the data. And the second thing, what we are going to do is we are going to pass the value, and we are going to use the same method over here. Okay, so this one is going to return the model. So first we have to format it. So Ctrl Alt and L, this will format it if not formatted. Okay, so if I return false over here, then it will not extract the ID from this request map. Okay, because while we are adding a new record, we don't need to extract the ID from the map, because this ID, we have set this strategy for this one automatically increment value by 1 whenever we add a new record. So we need to only set these three values inside this one. And with the help of this getters and setters, we are actually able to set the values over here. Okay, so now let's move back over here. If you have any doubt at any moment of time, please comment in the comment section, and follow on the Instagram. You can also ping us over there. Okay, so here we have to pass the value inside this one, and this will return the product object. So product, and I'm going to name this one product, and we are going to call this method, and inside this method we have to pass the request map, and second thing, false, because at this moment of time we don't need to set this ID. So that's why we have passed false over here. So if this one is true, then only we are going to enter inside this one, else these operation will be performed and this will return the product object. Okay, so here you can see this. Now this one is working fine. Next thing what we have to do is we have to actually return some message to the user. So I'm going to just copy it and make some space over here and paste it. And here we have to change this one from bad request to okay. And here we have to change the message, that is product added successfully, something like this. Okay, so we can also optimize this code. Here we already know that this method is going to return the product object. Then why we need to reassign that value into this one, while we can do something like this. Just cut it and move back over here and paste inside this one, and just delete this much part of code. So this will actually enhance the performance of our API. Okay, so now the add new product operation is performed. So now start the project and move back over here, and here you can see this, we have now table. And if I write the query select star from product, then here you can see this, we have empty set, we don't have any value. And here you can see this Tomcat started at 8080. And if I move back over here, you can see this laptop 30,000.5 description, this one. And here you can see this is a product, and it started at localhost 8080. If you have changed the port, then you have to change it over here, this product from where this product came. So if I move back over here on the rest, and here you can see this is a product, and this is slash add new product. This is what we have written over here, product slash add new product, and just send it. And here you can see this product added successfully. If I move back over here and just fire it again, and you can see this select start from product. Now we have one value. This is electronic item need to take care properly. This is laptop 30,000.5, something like this. And if I move back over here, and here you can see this, now this query is also fired, that is inserted into product, and now three values is being inserted. So we have three question marks over here. So our API, this API is working properly fine. If I move back over here, we have validated the data. If I move back over here, and if I add one more n over here and try to send it, invalid data, because we have changed the key. Okay, so this one is working fine. Next thing, now our add new product is ready. So next thing what we have to do is we cannot perform this operation again. So what I want to create an API which is going to return all the product which is in our database. So if I move back over here, let's stop it, and we have to move back to the first stuff, that is product rest, and here we are going to add one product. So this will be get mapping, because we are not going to pass any values inside this one. So path slash, and I'm going to name it get all product. This will be the public response entity, and this is of a string type. Okay, and get all product, and it's not going to expect any values, so simply we have to write something like this. Okay, so this will be the get all product. So move back over here and just hover over this, click on this one, implement method, and select OK, or you can manually type it, totally depends on you. Okay, inside this one I'm going to delete this. First we handle the exception, so try, then catch, exception, ex, and inside this one we have to simply type ex dot print star trace, and again we have to copy this much of line of code and just paste it over here. Something went wrong, http internal status code error. Okay, next thing what we have to do is we have to create one similar this one into the service. So if I move back over here and make some space, and this is going to return a public entity, sorry, response entity of type, sorry, this I have actually made one small mistake. This is going to return a response entity of type list of product. Okay, it's going to return a list of products, so we have to make changes. If I move back over here, just make changes over here, and also we have to make changes inside this one, and we have to remove this much part, and I'm going to return a new array list, empty array list of type product. Okay, so whenever there is an array, it's going to return an empty array set. Okay, in the product service we have to again change this one, that is a list of product which we are going to return. And now finally we have to move back over here, and before we move back over here, with the help of this we have to type return product service dot get all product, like this. Okay, so now the task at the rest impl is done, and service we have already declared it. In the service impl we have to implement it, so just click on this and implement methods like this one and hit OK. Okay, so in the middle it's added, so I'm going to cut it and I'm going to put it on the bottom over here. Here what we have to do is we have to simply use the JPA repository. For that, just remove it, I don't need it for now. So try and the catch block, exception ex dot print star trace, and we need to actually copy this line, internal server error, just paste it next to this one. Okay, next thing what we have to do is now we have this request map, and first thing I want to validate this request map. So request map, if request map validate add new product. Okay, and I'm going to pass this request map. If it throws, or if this one is invalid, then we are going to return something invalid data stuff. So I'm going to copy it from here, move back over here and just paste it. Okay, invalid data if it contains some other keys or doesn't contain the required values. Okay, so before we update the data, first thing what we want to do is we want to actually find that if that product exists in our database or not. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to update the data. We want to actually find the data if that data is actually exists in the database or not. Suppose here you can see this, for the ID 1 we have laptop, ID 2 we have mobile, but ID 3 doesn't exist, and I'm trying to update the 3 which actually doesn't exist in our database. So in that situation what we want to do is we want to throw an exception, or we want to tell the user that you are trying to update the data which doesn't exist in our database. For that, what we have to do is we have to first actually fetch the data from the database. So what we are going to do is product dot find by id is a method which is provided by the JP which we are going to use. So find by id, inside this one request map dot get, and I'm going to get the id. So I'm going to pass it in the product capital I and D. It's showing an error because request map is of a string comma string type. So this will return a string, but it's expecting one integer. For that, we have to cast it into the integer type. So integer dot parse int like this. And now this one is done. Next thing, this will return an optional type data. So we are going to keep it in the optional and is equal to. Now we will check if the data is present in the database, then this optional contains some values. So if not, then this one will be empty. So optional dot is empty. If not empty, then we want to perform the update operation. In the else case, we want to throw an exception or show some message to the user. So else I want to return this invalid data. So what we can update is we can change that message. So product is not you are trying to update the product which doesn't exist. Okay, so let's try this if this works or not. So now at the rest, we have already created this update product rest simple. We already have returned this value. In the case of exception, this will be returned. And here we have this update product, and here we have this. So now the data will be validated, and after that, this one will be find as well. And next thing, if this one is empty, that is if data doesn't exist, then this will be thrown. This will be returned. So let's start it. Move back over here in the update part, and here you can see this. I'm trying to update the ID for product ID. Okay, so now our application is started. If I move back over here and send it, you are trying to update the product which doesn't exist. So what happened is this 4 has here it has extracted the value 4 and it's find in the database. So it can't able to find in the data with the ID 4. So this optional is empty. And here we have checked that it's not empty, then enter inside the if condition, and in the else condition, we will throw this message. So we can also check for this if this validate new product worked or not. Here you can see this when this find by ID is executed, it's actually the query is printed over here. Here you can see this. In the last, we have this product underscore ID is question mark with the value which we passed. Okay, so this one is working fine. So if you want to check for this one also, you can move back over here and you can also change the ID, that is n product slash update product, which we have kept the name, that is the ID for that. If I click on this, invalid data because the key is wrong. Okay, you must be worried that we haven't validated this product ID, while this product ID is very necessary in our project. Okay, so you can also validate it over here inside this one, that is the validate add new product. You can still you can also add one boolean value, that is boolean validate ID, something like this. And if validate ID, then what we can do is request map dot contains key, something like this, and we can copy this product ID. We just minimize it and move back over here. If this contains this request map, just cut it, and we can actually move inside this one and because and request map contains key this, then return true, else if not validate ID, then we want to return this, else it will automatically return false. So we need to make a small change over here inside this one, comma false for now, and we want to validate this product ID, then we have to pass true over here. Okay, so if I move back over here and if I change this product ID to one more T like this one and send it, oh sorry, I've actually stopped the project, so I'm restart it. Really check the add new product also. So if I move back over here, click on this invalid data because it doesn't contain this T. If I again pass the valid data, now you can see this, we have entered inside this one over here, uh, so that's why this exception is being printed. So now for now, if I move back over here and click on this, and here you can see this, now we have two products, but we have changed in the add new product. So again, we want to verify this value, so I'm going to add one more item, that is here airdrops or airports, something like this, and the price for this one will be 2600, and send it, product added successfully. Move back over here, click on this, and you can see this airdrops, and yeah, now the add one is also working and update is also working, and it's validating all of the records. Okay, so now stop it. After this, what we have to do is, now we all the type of validation which we want to perform is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to actually save the data. So this time, how we are going to save the data, how we are going to actually update the data. For that, we are going to use a productdow dot save method. The save method is going to use in order to save the data. Okay, so again, this time we need to get the model. So get model, get product from map, and we are going to pass the request map comma true this time. Why true? Because we are going to extract this product ID and we are going to set that into the model. If I go into this method and you can see this, if true, then we are going to extract the ID from this map and we are going to set into this one. So how this DAO, this product work, how the save method work? If you pass the ID, then it will actually check that if that data exists in the database or not. If that data exists in the database, then it will update the existing database. If that data is not present, then it will insert a new record. That's why we have checked it over here. If data is not present, then we don't want to insert the unnecessary data. If I remove this validation, then what will happen? If you pass a new key, that is 5, which doesn't exist in the database, and if you still want to save it, then it will not update any existing record. It will insert that data, the new data. Okay, so that's why we need to validate this. And after the updation, we want to show user that your data is successfully updated. So for that, again, we need to add one response entity. Okay, so this will be the OK and product updated successfully, the message which you want to show. So product updated successfully, and just minimize it so that you can see it clearly, just like this. Here you can see this. We have to save the data. This will save, this save method will update the data if that data present in the database. Okay, so we will reach here only if the data is present in the database, because we have previously checked it. We have actually fetched the data and we have stored in the optional and we have checked for it's not empty. Then only we will reach over here. Okay, so now we will start it and let's check if this one is working fine. So at product rest, we have update product over here. So now move back over here, and here you can see this is of ID 4. So if I click on this, you are trying to update the product which doesn't exist. This one is working fine. If I move back over here, and here you can see this, we have airdrops. So what I want is I want to update this ID 3 airdrops with amount something else. So here we have airdrops, and I'm going to update this one with the 3100.50. Okay, so you must observe one small stuff. For now, here you can see this, we have two queries actually executed when we call one get and one update one method. Okay, so if I move back over here and I'm going to send it, and here again it's showing an error because we haven't changed the ID accordingly. So this is ID for this one is 3, so I'm going to change the ID to 3. Now select it, and here you can see this product updated successfully. If I move back over here, here you can see this one query is select this by ID is fired, and another query is update product set price question mark where product ID is question mark. And if I move back over here and if I type something like this, and here you can see this now 3100.5 is the value for that airdrops is already updated. So a small stuff which you must notice that if I move back to the postman, you must observe that I have passed name, price, description, everything I have passed, and at the coding level we have created the model for the complete data. If I move back over here, create product, get product from map, here you can see this, we have set all three values, but the query is generated for only one value which we have changed. How this one is working? So if I move back to the model, that is the Pojo, here you can see this, we have added one annotation, that is dynamic update. This will only generate the query for the value which has actually changed. If I move back over here and if I change the value of this one from 3100 to 3101 rupees, and airdrops, change this one from boat airdrops or something else, and if I send it, then product updated successfully. If I move back over here into the run, and here you can see this time name and price, the query is changed. So this is how the dynamic update works, and this is how in the same way dynamic insert works. Okay, so now you understand how this one is working. And if I move back over here, and here you can see this, now our product is successfully being updated. If I move back over here and click on this, and here you can see this 3100 and Boveros, it's changed. Okay, next thing what we have to do is we have to perform the delete operation. Now we have performed the get data operation, update, and also inserted. Now we have this time to delete the data. So for that, move back over here, just stop this, and here you can see this, we have the updated, everything is working fine. So now move back to the product rest, and here now we have to actually delete the data. For that, we have to actually, you can use any of this stuff, post or get mapping, but I'm going to use the delete mapping, which is provided for sure for some specific reason. That's why I'm going to use it. So I'm going to use this delete product, and I'm going to write one small change over here. So product and ID. I will explain why I'm writing like this. Product public response entity of type string, and this will be delete product. Okay, and this will be path variable. Type int, and this will be the product ID. Okay, so what is path variable? Whenever we call the API, there we have to actually pass that value in the path. If you observe that, if I move back over here, when I have shown you that this one, after delete product, I have passed the value that is the ID, that is 6. This is how the path variable work. You have to pass the value in the path, that is the calling URL. Okay, so that's how this API works in the case of this path variable. Here you can see this path variable. I can accept the value in the another, that is request param, query param, or the request body, but I have used in this way so that I should explain this one also, that something like this exists in Spring. Okay, so now we have created this. Next thing what we have to do is we have to move back over here in the REST simple, and again we have to implement the method. So just click on this one, implement methods, and click on OK. And here we have to actually just delete it and start with the try catch block. ex.print star trace, something like this, and again this response entity in the case of exception, just paste it, and again we have to return product service dot delete product, which doesn't exist, but we are going to create it over there so that this error will be resolved. So if I move back to this one, public response entity of type string, delete product of type, it will accept one int, product ID, something like this. If I move back to the REST simple, and here you can see this, now the issue is resolved. And now we have declared it over here, so it will show an error because we haven't implemented in the service simple. So here we have to implement it. So move back over here, just click on this one, implement method, click on this one, and click OK. And here now we have generated the method. So here what we have to do is we have to delete the value, that specific record. So first we start with the try catch block. So try catch exception ex.print star trace, and again this something went wrong message. Okay, and just remove this part. Okay, after this we have to actually first validate that this product ID needs to be greater than 0 or is equal to 0. So product ID should be greater than or equal to 0. If not, then what we have to do is we have to show some message Ctrl Alt L in order to format it. So just copy it and paste it over here, and here we're going to pass this bad request, that is 400 invalid product ID, something like this, or whatever message you want to show to the user. Okay, after this we have to simply use the product DAO dot, and we have to delete by ID. We are going to use this and simply pass this ID. After this we have to simply pass this 200 message to the user, like this one, and the status code will be OK, that is 200. Okay, so now our API is ready. First we will check that if the value is greater than 0 or is equal to 0, and if not, then this invalid product ID message will be thrown, else the data will be deleted and it will show product deleted successfully. This is how this delete will work. So let's start this and let's test it. Here, move back over here and now get it. And here we have 3 records, so I'm going to delete this 3. But before, here you can see this, we have used this delete at the rate delete mapping. Okay, so I'm going to use this delete over here. You have to select the delete over here. In the previous, you must have selected the post and get according to this one. Whatever you use over here, that is get and post mapping. Okay, so if I move back over here, and first I'm going to pass -15, some random values, and send it invalid product ID because this one is in minus. So first thing what I want to delete is number 3. So if I click on this, and here you can see this, now we got the 3 records, and I'm going to delete the 3. So if I click on select 3 and passed it, so product deleted successfully. If I move back over here, you can see this get is selected, get all product. If I send it, and here you can see this, now we have only 2 record. I'm going to insert it again, airdrops, and get it. Now we have ID 4, that is airdrops is added. Now I'm going to delete this one. So 4, send it, and here you can see this product deleted successfully, and now we have 2 records. So this one is working fine. Here you can see this, now delete from product where product ID is this. This one is working fine. So that's it for this video, guys. In this video I have shown you how to add product, how to get out product, update product, and delete product. I hope you have enjoyed learning with me, and if you have any doubt, please comment in the comment section. And if you want more videos on Spring Boot, or if you want a project on Spring Boot, just let us know in the comment section, and follow on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Just hit like, subscribe, and share.